And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, helping you win in any marketplace. That's the goal of our show. It's the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. My wife, Lindsay, and I own and operate a top team here in Tampa Bay. In the house, Thomas King. Welcome back, sir.
Thanks, Brandon. Always a pleasure to be here on your amazing show.
Florida Firearms Academy in the house. We also have our friend here, Tactical Teddy. Tell us about
the right
Tactical.
to bear arms. So Tactical Teddy, we have an 8-foot tactical teddy bear in our store. So
yeah, pretty cool. I like that. And we also have Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance. Welcome to the show, Doug.
Brandon, always good to be here and good to see things opening back up. And we got some great updates about the insurance marketplace and also how people can help earn some part-time income.
Excellent. Yeah, I like that. A lot of things happening out there. You know, the number of companies that have been hit by bankruptcy now is growing. We're hearing about 50% of the companies that were forced to close. We were forced to close a lot of our businesses, and about half of those will not come back. They won't ever reopen. Anyways, let's support some of our local partners here. Right now, we've got Golf Cart Depot, one of our partners, bringing you this opening segment. Golf Cart Depot, longtime friends of the program here. Say hello to Marty and his team. Give Marty and his team at Golf Cart Depot a call. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Talk to them about their Easy Go, their Star EV, Cushman. They've got pre-owned and remanufactured carts available. Also, the brand new Icon as well, Icon electric vehicles. They've got 2 locations to serve you right here in Tampa Bay, Clearwater and Land O'Lakes. And I love driving mine. It's an awesome Keller Williams red, beautiful golf cart. A lot of fun. You know, I had family in town over the weekend, some friends riding around, cruising around, just kind of having fun on the golf cart there. And you can do the same. Commercial uses as well. I know farmers that use it, landscapers, all types of businesses, real estate companies use them as well. Reach out to Golf Cart Depot. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, let's jump right into it. We got Doug Levi. Doug is a wealth of information, highly respected insurance executive here, owner of a branch here in Tampa Bay as well, his own firm, Strategic Insurance. Doug Levi, what are you seeing out there? You know, right now we're kind of feels like we're peeking our way out. We're kind of coming out the other side of this whole COVID-19.
Yeah, it's good to see. And I was saying, Brandon, I was out this weekend with my family, took the family to the beach afterwards. We were able to go and get ice cream, and took my wife out on a date night to Yolele restaurant in Tampa. So it was nice to see that things are opening up. People are coming back out. So one of the biggest things with insurance right now to highlight is with the changes with COVID-19 and a lot of people feeling the effect, especially people in the restaurant business, could be contractors, any type of insurance that's based on sales or payroll, and there's quite a bit. Again, restaurants can be, a lot of contractors out there. And if you've been affected by COVID-19 and you've seen a dip in your projected sales or your projected payroll, give us a call. We'd love to take a look and help you out because you may be overpaying. In other words, if you said, hey, my projected revenue is $1 million and you're paying insurance on that, but you know for this year you're only going to do $500,000 because of everything with COVID-19, you may be paying twice as much for insurance. And trust me, the insurance company's not going to call you and tell you that right now. So we'd love to throw out our gift card offer, Brandon, if maybe that's a good idea. We do a $27 Amazon gift card offer just for the opportunity to review your insurance. And we've seen several listeners lately start taking us up on that. So we'd love an opportunity to help with that.
Yeah, reach out. You know, if you want to take up, it's a great time to get a review. First of all, you look at a lot of the variables that happen with insurance. We've talked about some here on the show in the past. It comes down to the income, the revenues for businesses, for homeowners. There may be some recent changes to laws that you haven't renewed. And a lot of times I know we're busy. We just simply renew every year after year after year. Think about if you've been doing that for 5, 6, 7 years or more.
Mm-hmm.
A great time for an opportunity to reach out to Doug Levi, and he's offering $27 Amazon gift card to make it worth your while. Either way, if he can help you or not, and chances are he can help you and save you some money. And it's kind of like newfound money there. If he can help you save some money, you look at being able to broker and shop a number of different companies, national carriers, and all types of different carriers as well. Reach out, just text the word insurance to our hotline, 813-670-7372. We'll put you in touch with Doug. And we also have 80 different categories of other consumer advocate content and advice that you've heard about here on the show over the last 7 years or so if you've been following us. 813-670-7372. And Doug Levi can help you with that. That's right. So Doug, tell us more, about
absolutely.
with the insurance side hustle. When you look at the opportunity right now, a lot of people have been laid off. They went from 2 incomes in the household to 1. Might be a good time to look at broadening, your reach as an individual. I know in real estate, one of the things we do is we work our database, we stay in communication with people, we provide them information, market updates. But one of the key things is that, the number of families that you can help. Hey, this might be something they might want to bring on with your insurancesideHustling.com.
Absolutely, yeah. So insurancesideHustling.com. We got press release picked up by Yahoo Finance in January called our model a game changer, and we're helping people get in the insurance business, doing home and auto insurance, remote, part-time. Our agency provides all the infrastructure, all the support, all the access to carriers. We help with the servicing of the policies, and we really show you and teach you about insurance and how to market and how to build a book of business. So it can be a great opportunity. I mean, you look and my heart goes out, Brandon, I know as yours does. 40 million Americans have lost their job. Which is staggering, right? So there's a lot of people looking for something to do and needing to be able to do it from home and wanting to do something legitimate. Great time to enter in the business. The other thing that we talked about a little bit is there's a temporary insurance license right now. And so very simply what that means, testing centers have been closed, and the state is now allowing you to get your insurance license for up to 6 months, a temporary insurance license for 6 months, and you have to take a class online and get your fingerprints, and you can get your license. Normally, you have to sit and actually take an exam. But because of the COVID-19 and the centers being closed, people can get a temporary license for 6 months. So, again, in my opinion, never a better opportunity to try and, give your hand at something new and earn some income. Great opportunity to earn some passive residual income as you build that book of business long term. So,
and talk about the challenges with that, Doug, because I would think, in real estate, we've got, some realtors that get licensed, and it's a tough, challenging road to work as an experienced agent. You don't mind helping along some of the younger agents and, holding their hand, but they're, a lot of times they're giving bad advice to clients. They're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. They're not binding contracts. And, so that opens up some opportunity for error, doesn't it?
It does, and our culture is so important to what we do here. Our core values are excellence, service, and integrity. And we believe in serving our clients, serving our community. So people that come on board with us, they get a lot of training and support. We want to make sure people understand what they're doing, that they're doing it the right way. And we really kind of have a model where we're kind of holding your hand. We're playing Big Brother, especially as you're up and running. But we're also attracting a lot of people that are already licensed too. Like anything else, though, and there's nothing easy in life. I love John Maxwell says, Brandon, everything worthwhile is uphill, right? It's a great line, a great thought. So,
yeah.
But the opportunity is huge. We don't want to make it sound like, this is so easy, and that you just print money. But we know that the opportunity is huge. Everyone that and anyone that's listening out there that drives a car needs auto insurance and owns a home needs homeowners insurance. And so the marketplace is huge. The opportunity is huge. We have all of the carrier relationships that we need, and we believe a great team and culture to help people really become successful.
Yeah, absolutely. A team is the key. Having a team around you, having someone that's going to guide you through the process, teach you what to focus on. And that's what's pretty cool with, the Keller Williams model is that we have, Gary Keller, millionaire real estate agent. He's written several of these types of books about the market, how to navigate the market. And, and really, when you think about it, to get to a success level like you've been at yourself, mine, Thomas has his business as well. You look at people that have been successful, they followed a model, they followed something that's worked. And it's really like a big math equation. It really is. Life is kind of like a video game in a sense. And it's like, hey, you find out, don't go down that road. Okay, next time I go through that game and that stage, I'm going to avoid this challenge on this left side. And I'm going to go to the right side. I'm going to learn from the past. So when you can leverage someone that's had the experience, that's made the right decisions and got to a point where, hey, I've seen that play out. We might want to avoid this. You might want to focus on this. Talk about the 80-20 rule. Talk about focusing on the key tasks that are going to help you win. So those are the ideas when you look at overall success. And people that have that driver, that attitude of winning and that positivity, they can make a great income in sales.
Absolutely. There's no doubt. And we talk about all sides of it. And, I tell our team, your pipeline is your lifeline, and we really show you how to market, how to prospect, how to network effectively. And then you obviously have to learn the insurance end of things. But we enjoy, and we have a lot of fun around here. We've got incentive travel trips that we're getting ready to roll out. We've got a summer sales contest going on. And so, again, we're having fun, and we're trying to keep our main thing the main thing, and that's really just taking care of the clients and the consumers out there. And we know when we do that, good things will happen.
That's a writer downer you said there too. The pipeline is the lifeline. If you're in sales and you
like that, yeah, that's an original. That's an original.
I like it, buddy. That's a good one. When you are in sales, it's so easy, especially if you're in your early 20s, or sometimes people, when they ease into these deals, they're like, oh wow, I made a good amount of money. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to party for the next 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden your pipeline dries up and you're struggling for 30 to 45 days. It's really part of that thing of like a thermometer or a thermostat in your house, right? You set the thing down, it's going to drop that temperature down, it's going to hold it right there. The more that you can be on point and focus on building that pipeline, keeping that pipeline going, because you're going to have deals fall out inevitably. It's going to happen, but you got to be ready to replace it and have 2 or 3 waiting to go right there in place. So more from Doug coming up here in our show. Strategic Insurance. He also got his insurancesidehustling.com. Thomas King's in the house, and check out this cool story we've got here. A 6-year-old boy finds sunken treasure chest, helps solve 8-year-old mystery. Pretty cool story coming up right here in our feel-good story of the day, and more from our expert contributors. We're going to talk a little bit about the economy in terms of some of the numbers that have come in from bankruptcies and other aspects of business and life here in Tampa Bay. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with Danzo Star.
62 Who Knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance, Joe's Bar and Grill. But actually, it's our 39th week of 62 Who Knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember
to be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and changed them.
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left-hand white, and then they catch the left-hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to.
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back their rights. I've got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step Image. I love that name because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. Mm-hmm. And even as Sisters Connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We buy houses cash and fast. We can buy real estate properties quickly. If you know of somebody that's in a position where they want to sell quickly and want a fast cash offer, we have Keller offers, and we can definitely help you do that right here in Tampa Bay and across the state of Florida for that matter. Reach out to our hotline, 813-670-7372. consumerqb.com. Check out consumerqb.com. All right, a couple of hot listings here from our Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 6417 Yvette Drive in Hudson. This is a great opportunity to own waterfront on the saltwater canal, direct access out into the Gulf of Mexico right here. And that's the cool thing about the West Coast versus the East Coast as well. This same property over in Miami-Dade, Fort Lauderdale, it's going to be triple the cost. This property is listed at a very nice number here, 6417 Yvette Drive, Hudson. You've got a large home, huge dock, and nice open water views. You take a look to the left, you're looking at open water views there of the Gulf of Mexico. Also, check out 520 George Street South in Tarpon Springs. 520 George Street South in Tarpon Springs. Waterfront, Lake Tarpon, beautiful property. Definitely needs some renovation, some updating. It's got some of the old school looks in there. But you got your private boat dock. You've got a separate mother-in-law suite, a great rental on the largest lake in all of Tampa Bay and Central Florida for that matter. 2,500-acre lake is Lake Tarpon. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. Reach out to our friends Stephen and Lisa Gunnan over at Replenish IV Solutions. What they're doing is they're putting in these Myers cocktails, these vitamin infusion drips directly into your bloodstream. Of course, they've got certified nurses there adhering to CDC guidelines. Vitamin infusion drips directly into your bloodstream. It's going to help boost your immune system. It's going to make you feel better, and you're going to be able to perform better. Reach out. Replenish IV Solutions. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, we got a great show for you today. Doug Levi, more from Doug coming up soon. Strategic Insurance. In studio, we've got my friend Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy, self-defense, gun rights, buying guns, defending the home. Lots of fun game shooting, in the
training,
facility.
Teaching academy.
That's right.
Build them, customize them. We do it all.
I love it, man. Lots of fun stuff.
Today I want to go over something, what's really going on, and maybe I can sum it up with this famous riddle. And this riddle was almost every kid in the third grade knew the answer, but yet almost all adults didn't know it. So maybe you know the answer to this.
Uh-oh.
What is greater than God, more evil than the devil? The rich need it, the poor have it, and if you eat it, you die.
Whoa. That's a tough one.
So the answer to this was
Greater
nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
Nothing's greater than God.
Okay.
Nothing's more evil than the devil. The rich need nothing. The poor have nothing. And if you eat nothing, you die, right?
Wow.
So that's what's really going on in our country right now. Many people have nothing. And it's actually terrifying to see that 40 million people are unemployed. So I think that's the real pandemic here. The virus has become crazy enough that it's less than 100,000 people. Now, every life is valuable, of course.
Yeah.
But to put 40 million people, then that's 40 million people that work. That isn't including the kids that are not at home right now, maybe the parents that they take care of and everything. So it could be 100 million people that this is really affecting financially. Then you have to really look about the businesses on top of this. These business owners, CEOs are having to tell 50 to 500,000 people, hey, I'm sorry, you all, I cannot afford to pay you anymore because of this pandemic. Now, 99 years ago was the Great Depression. And I don't know if you all know or remember what happened in history in the Great Depression, but it was very, very ugly, very, very sad. Many people lost their jobs. Many people went and committed suicide because of this. Many families had no food to eat. So when you really take a look at what's really going on, our deficit, our kids, kids aren't going to be able to pay this off. And these taxes are going to go craziness. And I do have a point to all this right now. But to be honest, Americans are smart. They don't want the virus, and they're going to do everything that they can. So these politicians that have deemed these businesses that are essential to be open, because if they're wearing a mask or staying 6 feet apart, if you believe that they're essential and they can do that to be safely in there, that's like telling someone in a swimming pool, hey, it's all right to go pee in the pool, but you have to go pee over there. You're still swimming in pee, right?
Yeah.
So if you're actually in a business that if you was deemed non-essential, if you wore a mask and stayed 6 feet apart, why can't you be open right now?
Yeah.
Because you know how much money and income and all this money is going to be going to the people that, will stay here in America. So it goes to kids, their schools, their books and all that stuff. When you go to these big department stores, that money normally goes back to China, for all the product that they have. So where's my point in all this? So I basically think that churches, they should be able to open up. I think many states are really feeling a little bit of communism in their states right now because they're not allowing these. I don't care if you're, which political party you're on. You need to do the right thing so we can actually recover from this, because we're going down this slippery slope where if 50% of the businesses will never reopen again, that's going to be hard for many, many people right there. So reopening the churches back up, let them stay 6 feet apart, let them have faith, let them have their hopes back up, let these businesses open back up who you deem are non-essential, which I believe everyone is essential. I mean, everyone has the right to earn, to put food on their table, to be able to do something as long as it's legal and they're providing for their community. So where am I going with all this? So the whole thing that I'm really talking about is this pandemic. And the pandemic is, there's always going to be another pandemic. There always was a pandemic. There's always was an attack. There always was a war. There's always something. And many people aren't prepared for something like this.
Right.
So what we do at Florida Firearms Academy, we teach you how to prepare, not just for a pandemic. I mean, this, luckily, maybe people would think, wow, this is the worst thing ever. Imagine if this was Ebola. That would be terrifying. Or an EMP, even worse. That will kill hundreds of millions of people. And that's actually, scientists said that we're 100 years past due for that, from the sun just hitting it. And what's that happened is an EMP takes out all electricity. So electromagnetic pulse, and it's happened a long time ago. What that does is there's no internet, there's no electricity, there is no cars, there is no anything. So living in a society without any, you're going back to horse and buggies, basically.
Yeah.
And if you make a Faraday box, you can protect your phone or a radio, or learning how to do these things. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen. You should be fear-mongering, terrified. I'm just saying you should be prepared for anything that actually should come your way. So we do 40 different types of classes. 40 different types of classes isn't just for home defense. It isn't for shooting in the dark. It isn't just to train you how to shoot a firearm correctly and safely. It's also for competition shooting, sports shooting, stress relief, how to prepare for situations like this. And when you prepare for any kind of pandemic, it's how to do it. You don't just go grab a boatload of money and say, I need to buy this and buy this and buy this.
Right.
It's doing it properly and what you need to actually have to survive. So there's many groups out there that do this. Many people were laughing at preppers a long time ago, but they're not laughing at them now.
Right.
Now, not only that, I mean, we're not like preppers. We don't think that aliens are coming down, but many people do. Many people believe there's Bigfoot. Millions of people believe there's a Bigfoot. Millions of people believe that Loch Ness Monster has happened. Millions of people believe, you ever heard of flat Earth? Flat Earth. And I'm not going to take that away from you. If that's what you believe in and that's what you was brought up to believe in, well, then I understand that. I was brought up to believe in God. So that's what I believe. And you can laugh at me, but I don't laugh at anybody's beliefs. If that's what you prepare for, if that's what the situation is, I prepare for everything. I'm going to make sure that my family, no matter what kind of situation happens, it's going to be that I'm going to be able to take care and provide for them.
Yeah, the best possible scenario, the best possible options. In some Chris Voss's book, he talks about a black swan. This whole pandemic was a black swan. Nobody saw it coming. It was an unforeseen, kind of like the invention of the internet, kind of like the 2008 meltdown. Well, we kind of saw that one coming. And if you're in the mortgage industry, the real estate industry, some of us did see that coming. But to me, it's a power grab, because what happens is, back in 2008, a lot of people got foreclosed on. A lot of people's credit got mangled. They had to rent. So who owned the houses? Who bought up all the inventory? The hedge fund millionaires and billionaires.
That's who makes all the money. The market makers and the hedge funds.
That's right.
That's where it's all at.
And they manipulated the whole way along. So that's what this is. This is a reset. Half of those businesses are going to go out of business. Guess what? These hedge fund billionaires, these millionaires, are going to come in, buy all the restaurant equipment, all that restaurant equipment that's in, they threw it in a self-storage place. They're going to pick it up at pennies on the dollar. People are going to be buying companies and flipping companies. That's going to come back just like we were flipping real estate properties. They're going to start flipping businesses, bringing them back to market.
It's the same exact story for Wall Street. So I worked on Wall Street. I worked for a firm, and you know what? Who makes all the money is the market makers and the hedge funds. It's if you rode their coattails,
That's
of
right.
course you're going to make money because they know what they're doing. So that's
the
basically where it's
pandemic.
at.
I saw some videos online that got taken down. Plandemic is what it was called.
Plandemic. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it got taken down.
Play
of
on
course.
words. Yeah.
And so that's the whole thing too. By the way, if you just joined us, we're talking with Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And any classes coming up, Thomas? Are you able to do classes?
Well, we are doing a lot of classes right now, and we're keeping it to a minimum. Of course, we want a social distance, but everything that we've seen from the CDC and Dr. Fauci is now becoming the opposite thing that they're saying. So they said this before, now they're saying the opposite now. So no one really knows what to do. So all we're going to do is play it as safe as we possibly can to keep everyone as safe as we possibly can to make sure you're having a great time. But the main thing is you're learning how to protect you and your family.
Yeah, absolutely. Understand what's out there, what the options are. Guns, you had mentioned last time, you don't mark your guns up at all. Just a very small markup to cover your
many
costs.
guns are $10 we make off of. So the whole main thing is that we really want to do is make sure that you have the education and know how to use it correctly. So right now, because of all the sales that have happened, I believe there's probably 6 people left in Florida that don't own a firearm. It has been that crazy on sales. So get the firearm training that you absolutely need.
Yeah, don't make assumptions either. That's the thing too. People make an assumption that this person's carrying, this person's not carrying, and trying to play that game. And when it comes to walking through the mall or walking through the parking lot, you got to be careful. You got to learn how to load, hold, aim, and shoot properly. Otherwise, you're going to be one of those knuckleheads that shoot the other person in their own car.
They're going to shoot themselves in the foot or something. So
exactly.
An armed society has always been a polite society. If everyone's armed, no one's going to start a fight.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you think about that from some of these small. Anyways, we'll go down that road. All right, stay with us. When we come back, we got Doug Levi in the house, Thomas King as well. Feel good story of the day is pretty cool too. The 6-year-old boy finds sunken treasure chest, and he helps solve a 8-year-old mystery. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We would love for you to follow us online as well at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, the Consumer Quarterback Show page on Facebook, and Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. We'll be right back.
All right, this week we're going to talk about something exciting as usual.
We always have something exciting.
Yes, we do.
At least it's exciting to us.
But this is a question that comes up.
TV, hey, it is Friday night. We're not here. Yes, we pre-recorded once again because WeBeam TV is working over in Tampa with Dancing with the Stars.
62 Who Knew. I almost said Professional Mortgage Alliance Joe's Bar and Grill, but actually it's our 39th week. 62 Who Knew.
We're at the wonderful steampunk event at the Verizon Event Center here in 2019. I think it's still August, right? Yeah. Woo! Can't remember
to be able to help businesses to do that part of it. But it's just been a couple of years.
Well, and I've taken the business card files from our business cards and changed them.
Entrepreneurs and professionals of Tampa Bay, welcome to your hour for getting the information, the tools, and the connections
Ian
for
Beckles on Radio Influence.
Or you say left-hand white, and then they catch the left-hand white. What it does, it helps you quick with hand-eye coordination. Yeah.
Well, that's kind
as your super connector. We want to introduce you to our 50-plus show partners. We got over 80 categories of expert contributor advice here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we want to...
That's where we disagree, but that's okay.
I said nonviolent.
That's okay.
Because, we're one of the only states that don't give them back their rights. I've got Jamie Limbaugh. He is from the Next Step image. I love that name because you were telling me earlier.
For the type of republic we actually are is actually very correct. Yet politicians and regular people use these words interchangeably, even though technically they are very different.
If you're an overdoer, overachiever, people pleaser, we tend to neglect ourselves. And even as sisters connected here, with Women Unscripted, I know.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. That is our goal for you right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We would love for you to engage. We have an off-air number. Any comments, questions, concerns you have from the show, and I appreciate everybody who's been calling in. We've seen and experienced an uptick in calls lately. Lots of people reaching out, want to know about real estate, credit, finance, estate and tax planning, purchasing guns, lots of ways, self-defense that we can help you here on the show. Lots of great contractors as well associated with the show, cleaning company, 813-670-7372. Reach out. We'd love to put you in touch with the best in the Tampa Bay area. This segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving. The official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show is Brothers Easy Moving. And I can tell you from firsthand experience, they are a first-class organization. They did a great job with my family's move, and I trust them for your family's move as well. Local or long-distance moves. Reach out to Gary Thacker. He's the owner of the company, and let him know that the real estate quarterback sent you. Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we're going to go back to Zoom here. We got Doug Levi on Strategic Insurance Zoom, and we also have Thomas King in studio. More from Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy, coming up here shortly. But yeah, Doug, we're all hoping for a light hurricane season. I've seen a couple reports. I've heard it out there, 16 to 18 named storms potentially this year.
Yeah, we were just talking in the break, Brandon. Hurricane season's right around the corner, June 1st. We'll tie it in even to Thomas and his business. It's a great opportunity to start preparing, right? And I'll say, listen, I pray and hope we have a very light season. The predictions sometimes are just not accurate. That being said, always better safe than sorry. So we always recommend people having things like, 3 to 5 days of food and water. Have you changed your batteries in your flashlights? Do you have backup cell phone chargers? Just basic things to make sure that you and your family can be prepared. And then obviously you want to understand and look at what do you have for insurance protection, right? I mean, if you ask and kind of did a Jay Leno style man on the street interview of most homeowners and said, hey, do you know what your hurricane deductible is? Probably wouldn't be able to tell you. So it's important
right.
to get your eyes on your insurance, right?
Yeah.
And say, what's my hurricane deductible? How does that work exactly? Well, what does that mean? And, so we just, again, much like Thomas, have that advocate attitude where we just want to help people that are out there looking for help with their insurance. Of course, it provides us an opportunity to potentially pick up their business. But anyone with a policy, a homeowner's policy, they want to call and get a good review, we're happy to do that. Go over some basic things with them. A lot of the carriers right now as well. It's a big one, Brandon. We've talked about this in the past. But there's a lot of carriers out there that are doing limited water damage. And what that means, depending on the age of your home, you may only have $10,000 in coverage if a pipe breaks and causes a flood. That's huge. And again, I got to believe there's a lot of people out there that don't understand what they have, right? So,
right.
Our agency, we take energy to explain what you've got, answer your questions. We have a real proactive approach with your renewals. So we do a policy review each year, make sure we're staying competitive and getting you best rates and coverages. So great opportunity for people to take advantage of our Amazon gift card offer and review.
$27 Amazon gift card offer and review from Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show here, the insurance quarterback as well on the show. But when you look at real estate specifically as well, I want to dive deeper into scenarios that play out. A lot of times, the buyer's looking to buy a house. It's a low inventory market. And that's, by the way, the question I get a lot is, how's the market? Okay, it depends. Single family homes, condos, where you're looking, what area, what geo, what price point. There's a lot of different markets, right? But Doug, one of the main things that we see a lot of times when it comes to the insurance side of the equation is the buyers just get an address and then some broker just sends them hey, here's a quote for that address. It should be a little bit more complicated, more of a detailed transaction than that, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we see that all the time where there's a lot of policies that get written where literally the buyer has never talked to the insurance agent at all. Right. And I look from the sales side, I kind of get it. They may be getting leads from a realtor or mortgage broker, and certainly not saying that there's things that are misintended, but we shared on the last time I was on, Brandon. We just helped a new advisor that came on board with us doing the side hustle, who was also in the process of buying a home. They just closed 2 weeks ago. And the quote they had, they were overinsured by almost $100,000 because the agent just didn't really take the time, the insurance agent that is, they didn't take the time to do what we call a replacement cost estimate. And so they literally just insured the home at the appraisal value. Well, the insurance doesn't include the land. You never.
Exactly. Yeah, you never include the land. I know we just lost Doug, it sounds like, but what he was saying is whenever you're insuring a real estate property, a single family home, you can't just insure the whole appraised value, right, Thomas?
Right.
I mean,
Absolutely
it doesn't make sense. You got to back the land out of that equation. Mm-hmm. Right. What about business insurance for a company like yours? You're getting.
Oh, that's a whole nother avenue. But there's so many companies that won't even insure us at all, and just like many banks, they won't deal business with us because we're a firearm, academy and a firing range. But what Doug was saying too is, being prepared. And what we do is, we always want you to be prepared. So the one thing that we always look for is we tell you to keep your insurance policy, make a copy of it, because if your house is blown away, you don't know who to call. Make sure you have the phone numbers. Make sure, like we tell you to put your kids' photos in with a bag, a separate bag and a Ziploc, because if your kids go missing, well, now you're looking through photos. Well, now if you have it ready, everything with their name, their information, their home address, all this stuff, even if you get lost, like let's say a hurricane comes and you know what, someone's separated, your wife is at work during this situation and now you're actually lost and devastation has happened, make sure you have a meetup plan because cell phones are going to be out. There's a lot of things you can do to prepare for this, and you can watch a lot of it on our Facebook page at Florida Firearms Academy, and that's a free awareness, or there's many free webinars that we offer that help you prepare for things like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Think about it too. Here's something. By the way, if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're talking with Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy. We were talking with Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance. We lost him due to technical issue. But back to what we're talking about here. Think about this. What if all the cell phones, all of a sudden, cell phone towers, whatever the situation, satellites, went out and you had to go back to a landline and you didn't remember anybody's number? You may have 2 or 3 numbers up there.
You have to have all of it listed. And imagine all your bank accounts and all your informations or your passwords, and you can't get to any of that, even if you get to somewhere where you can use a computer for some kind of a offline thing. But the main situation is be prepared for this. And there's a whole list of things that we can give you, and you can just pick and choose from that sounds like a great idea. So like having a bug out bag. A bug out bag can be used for just about anything. And these are real live situations, in a fire, in a hurricane, in a tornado, something that you can do that's going to make it easier for you and your family to get back together to be safe again.
Now let's make it real for them too, because you have people coming in, you have police officers, sheriffs, deputies, ex-military, people coming in. What's a story that comes to mind of somebody who maybe recently come in or a while back come in and said, hey, this happened to us. We're glad we took your class because of this?
Well, I have a lot of people that don't come in and say that they've taken our class and it's happened because they're already prepared and ready to go. But like the one that we recently had was a lady had these guys kick her door in. She's sitting in her lazy boy, and they just looked at her, went through her house, stole what they could. They were out in less than a minute. So she came in, got a firearm, got firearms training. Wow. Now she does talk to us and she feels a lot more secure, but she was terrified. She couldn't even move from her chair. She was glued to her. She couldn't even call the police department. Wow. And that's how terrifying it can be. Imagine if that really happened to you. Imagine if she had kids that she had to protect, but she was an elderly woman, so she didn't. So luckily for her, she was okay. Nothing happened. They grabbed what they wanted, but it's not going to happen to her again. So even making her house a hard target is what we let her know how to do. So she's like, oh, these are amazing ideas. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I saw on the news as well, car burglaries are up by something like 46%. So the thieves, the car burglars, they don't have anything else to do. More people are at home. They're kind of lackadaisical. And it said something like 72% of the break-ins, the keys were in the vehicle.
Wow. It's just common sense in that. But the crime rate, believe it or not, is going to go pretty crazy. And hopefully it'll flatline in the end. Once people go back to work, they're making money. But right now, when you really do have people that don't have money to pay for food for their kids, they're going to do everything they can do to get food for their kids.
Well, and what you were talking about earlier as well, with the 40 million jobs lost due to this crazy pandemic, is the coronavirus, the Chinese coronavirus, right? The unintended consequences is what I wrote down. 300% increase in meth use. I think it was a 38% increase in alcohol use.
Wow.
Think about all the people that die from the normal flu, the
Right.
regular flu, and then they came out and said, "Oh, we're going to have what were the early estimates?
3 million deaths.
3 million deaths in the world, and what was the United States?
Well, in the United States was 3 million.
Potential.
And now it's less than 100,000.
The percentages are way low. So they shut everybody's business down. They had to.
They destroyed lives.
They did. Absolutely. And it's crazy how that happened.
And you know what? They didn't know. And that's probably the situation. But when you really think about it, they thought they had to do this because it was saving lives. Now we know that it's not. And you know what? It's destroying lives. 40 million people have no jobs, no food, no anything. Let them go back to work. Let them be able to wear a mask and social distance. And that should be just fine. If that's what you're saying is works for everybody else that has an essential business, right?
Yeah. And the thing you keep hearing is, oh, how can I go to Costco or Publix and still go shopping and be 6 feet away, but I can't go to, insert company name here, insert government business here,
And who makes it essential and not essential? Nothing against marijuana farms or factories or whatever, but you can go there and buy that, and you can go to alcohol and buy alcohol, but you can't go to Starbucks where people go use the internet and work from, or they stress relieve from there, or many businesses out there. But
it is. It's a challenge. It's a challenging time.
Scary.
Real estate has been deemed essential. Real estate is busy. We're getting calls. We're getting new listings. People are still out there home shopping, and we have a COVID-19 addendum that we can have people sign if we're doing open houses and things of that nature. By the way, we just got that feature back. We were able to do a lot of open houses again this weekend. So we just got the ability to be able to host open houses. People love to go in and look at homes, and
absolutely,
and that's
they
part
just
of the
want to
buying
get
process.
out right now. They're crazy.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of that you see. So we appreciate you supporting the show, supporting our show partners, Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy, Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, also has his insurance side hustle as well, insurancesidehustling.com. So reach out to the show. We'd love to connect with you, put you in touch with any of our 50-plus show partners and all of the best expert contributors that we've assembled, we've vetted, and we bring on the show to help you understand your buying decisions. It's an off-air number at 813-670-7372. Call or text 813-670-7372. So find out about this story when we come back. 6-year-old finds sunken treasure chest. Pretty cool story coming up right here out of South Carolina Lake, right here. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We are hiring, by the way, if you are a real estate agent or want to get into real estate profession, we're hiring for several positions right now. Lots of business happening, lots of leads coming in, and a lot of action around the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Just reach out. We'd love to connect with you. Check out our website, consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors right there at consumerqb.com. Giving a shout out to the Bill Maher Beach Resort, the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. The beautiful Bill Maher Beach Resort on Treasure Island right here in Tampa Bay. Great opportunity to get away for a weekend vacation or a local staycation. And as hotels go on the beach, none can say 90% of the rooms overlook the beach. And this property is newly renovated, a variety of rooms for solo travelers, couples, and families. Also include 55-inch high-definition flat-screen TV, comfy beds, and a full suite of kitchen options. Check out the Bill Maher Beach Resort. Make sure you let them know that the real estate quarterback sent you. Okay, so one of our favorite segments of the show is we tell you something good here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got a positive, uplifting story for you here today. Now, this one's out of South Carolina. A 6-year-old boy helped crack a robbery case when he reeled in a safe from the bottom of a South Carolina lake. So finding buried treasure is every kid's dream, and it didn't take long for Knox Brewer to strike gold. Knox took up fishing, magnet fishing a few weeks ago after watching a video on YouTube. Magnet fishing is where people hunt for metal objects underwater using a strong magnet. Knox was out with his family at Lake Whitney this month when the magnet attached his line to something really heavy in the mud. With the help of a nearby stranger, they brought up a locked metal safe. When they pried it open, they found several items inside: jewelry, credit cards, and a checkbook. Quote, "I knew it was the right thing to do was to go ahead and call the authorities, get them involved, and try to solve this mystery," Mr. Brewer told ABC. It was also a great opportunity to show Knox what we are to do when something like this happens. And as it turned out, the safe belonged to a neighbor. The woman they tracked down just across the street, she said it was a safe stolen from her 8 years ago from her home. And it was a mystery ever since, and a rewarding experience for Knox in more than one ways. Quote, "The first thing that she did was kneel down and hug Knox and thanked him for bringing closure to her." And he says one day he hopes to become a police officer. So he got a lot of fun coming out of the investigation, asking questions, and to get the source. So
it's an amazing story.
Yeah, that is. And it's interesting when you think about what people could find in lakes. And, I'm sure people are throwing guns in lakes and all kinds of other metal objects.
I know. And that's the scary part. If a kid did find a firearm, what do they do? And we do a free class on that as well. If you come across a firearm, whether you find it in a lake when you're magnet fishing or in the woods or wherever it may be, how to dispose of it, what you should do, what you need to do. And this is a free class that we always offer at Florida Firearms Academy. But I'll give you a little heads up on that. So first thing you should do is call a parent. Many kids, what they normally do is they take it and they hide it and they're going to keep it. And they're, like this kid, he turned in that box, which was amazing. How many kids that wouldn't turn in that box? Like, oh, this is mine.
Yeah.
But that's a great story. But a lot of kids, they're going to keep this and like have it for later, hide it for later, hide it from their parents. Yeah. They don't realize how dangerous it can actually be. So it's as dangerous as giving your kids keys to your car and telling them to go drive on US 19 that's 5 years old and they've never driven before.
Yeah.
That's how dangerous this is. Once you know how to drive, then it's not as dangerous. So you've had lessons, you know how to do it. So we tell them what they can and should do. First thing is always contact your parent, let them know. They'll go ahead and contact the correct authorities, or they'll contact ATF and they'll pick it up. This gun may be used in a crime. So if you're caught with this firearm, you could be, in a lot of trouble with that. They're going to be looking after you, and it could cost you money for an attorney.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is always turn it in, or you can bring it into the first adult that you come to that you trust, or let them know, and they'll go ahead and take care of what they need to do.
And by the way, if you just joined us, Thomas King, Florida Firearms Academy here to my right, and I'm Brandon Rhymes. I'm your host. And when you think about it, Thomas, you look at can a gun like that just spontaneously shoot off? Is that kind of out of the question? Very low chance of that happening?
I've never seen one just going off, but it does take a human behind it to pull the trigger.
Right.
So when it does happen, there was an incident with a certain brand that if you dropped it, it did go off, but they did correct that. And, that's just a manufacturing issue. So But yeah, it does take a person behind it to actually make it go off.
Yeah. So we're talking with Thomas King here, Florida Firearms Academy, and wanted to talk about these bankruptcies as well. Rental car giant Hertz files for bankruptcy. We've talked about Gold's Gym, J.C. Penney, Neiman Marcus, Steak and Shake. Back to this latest report, the impact of COVID-19 travel on demand was a sudden, dramatic, and abrupt decline in companies' revenues and future bookings. That was out of the Hertz case. But yeah, a lot of companies were hit pretty hard, man. You see the challenge of this, especially the airline industry. How do you see this thing shaking out over the next few weeks?
Well, when you really think about it, all the business owners, being a business owner, employing people, you know that all those people that you're employing, giving them a paycheck, they're all paying taxes to the government, right? And none of those people are going to be doing that anymore. Who's going to pick up the slack?
Yep.
Us. We're going to be picking up the slack, like unemployment taxes and all that's going to, payroll taxes, everything's going to go up from now. So how do we recover from this? We get the people back to work. We let them do the social distancing. We let them wear their masks. We let them plant a garden. Is that what? Did you hear about that? You couldn't even plant a garden. You couldn't paint your house. I mean, when you're becoming a dictator, then you're really going to lose a lot of voters. So it doesn't matter what political party you're on. Yeah. I know right now that any political party is going to do or say whatever they can do to get elected at the taxpayer's expense, no matter what, no matter if it's a scandal, no matter what side you're on. They want to be elected. They want to be in power. They want to make the call. And that's what their job is.
Yep.
So right now, when you see this, how are they going to get back to work? That's up to the business people. Are they going to be able to get funding? Are they going to be able to get the loan that they can to be able to take another chance to open back up, to make sure that they're going to be able to employ more people? It's devastating to tell your employees, I'm sorry, I can no longer pay you. You've been with the company for 20 years, and now you feel like you're now taking food off their plate. Yep. Even though it's not your fault, it was the pandemic's fault or what has happened and how government has played this out. So
yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. It's really tough. It's a challenging situation, and when you look at the situation we're in now, what we can do is stay positive. We can try to maybe look at insurance side hustle, may start a different type of business. I know some people have launched other types of businesses as well, where you can work from home. There's challenges out there, but there's always a solution. That's the great thing about America. If you have a lot of people say, well, I don't have the resources, right? But it's more about being resourceful and having resourcefulness,
right?
And trying to adapt and challenge and go where the money's at.
So where do you see like 40 million people, right, are unemployed? And it's probably much higher. They just haven't been able to get on there to be unemployed. But Florida is doing okay with the real estate market. I'm worried about the 40 million people that really will lose their house, will lose their car, will lose everything because they can't get their job back. Now, where do you see the real estate market? We're doing good here.
Yep.
But outside, where they're not opening up, where the businesses aren't opening up, what do you see happening there?
Well, look at the far left leaning liberal cities like San Francisco, New York. You look at those places, California. People have been moving from California for a long time. They've been moving to Texas, Arizona, Florida. States. It comes down to a business decision, right? People are going to make common sense decisions, and it's like I said before about a math equation. It's very similar to a math equation. Hey, if I'm going to make this much money, and the government's going to take over 50% of my income, if I'm in California, for example, plus you got wildfires and you got a water shortage in a lot of cases. People are really going to start looking, where do I want to live? I think there's going to be more and more people moving to Florida. They're going to be moving to states like Austin, Texas. It's a hotbed.
Tax forgiveness too.
They're looking for those types of breaks. Companies are going to be looking for, cities and tri-city areas like Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater that will work with them and allow them to come in, like we saw Amazon out in East Hillsborough County.
We're so taxed to death on just about everything. They're going to have to come up with new taxes. If you leave your house, you're going to get taxed for that. I mean, they're going to have to figure out a way to get more money from us. So if they said, hey, you know what, now you're going to have to actually pay 70% of your paycheck to taxes, what would you say?
Yeah, exactly.
Because our kids, grandkids aren't going to be able to pay this off. It's just no way.
Well, a big part of that conversation also is where we went from just a W-2 employee getting unemployment, which was $275 a week. Then they just decided to give them an extra $600.
Right.
And I'm all for helping people when they're down in short term and let's get back to work. But now they also included 1099 self-employed contractors in that same equation.
Wow.
So that doubles, triples that number at some point.
So even the hard part is this. So I know a lot of restaurant owners, and they're telling me they went back and they have called every employer saying, hey, we can be 50% open now. And they're saying, I can't come back. Yeah. First off, I have my kids at home that I have to homeschool.
Right.
I can't if I wanted to. And second of all, I'm getting like $800 check for doing nothing, just sitting here.
Yeah.
So who's paying for that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how many TV commercials do you see now popping up with the PPE, the personal protection equipment? People popping into that market now as well.
I know. And you can believe whatever you like to believe. I've talked to many personal, really good friends that are doctors, and they said wearing a mask is basically like putting a chain link fence up to keep rats out. It helps a minuscule much, but it's more psychological. Now, if I'm going to be around older people, of course I'm going to wear a mask. I don't want them to get sick. I don't want anyone to get sick.
Yeah.
So
around and that's the nursing home side. That's the side that's really tough for that generation. Again, they got bad savings rates when the mortgage failed and all that stuff happened, and the mortgage rates have been so low. So their retirement plans got cut in half. I really feel bad for the seniors of this country.
I know.
We really have not treated them well.
Absolutely not. And they built this country.
Exactly.
They're the ones that actually built this country.
Yeah, and then the different games with the politicians playing along with the lobbyists, and the system's corrupt. We know it, but
there's lives at stake here, and now we're giving money to things that we shouldn't. I mean, give
me a quick tip. We got about a half a minute left. Give me a quick tip, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom for someone else.
So as always, I always say, make sure you and your family is well taken care of. I don't rely on the government to feed me, to take care of my family, to protect me. I protect care of what I hold best. That's most dearest to me. So all you have to do is have a preparedness plan. You can do it with us. You can do it with many other people, and there's many other ways to be prepared with these things.
All right. Hey, another great show. I want to thank our expert contributor panel today, Doug Levi, Strategic Insurance, Thomas King here in studio, all of our listeners, of course, our great production team as well. We appreciate everybody out there. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, pack up some food, volunteer, donate some time, donate some blood, and be a force for good in the community. Do something kind for one another, and we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time